class, today we're looking at solving factored form polynomials. Let's take a look at how we can do that. Right here we have x minus 4 times x plus 2 equals 0. If I can make this equal to 0, 0 times anything equals 0, and it would make it true. Or I have another choice. What if I set this one equal to 0? 0 times that would still equal 0, so it would be true. So we're going to write these separately. Take the first parenthesis, x minus 4, set it equal to 0. Set the second parenthesis and set it equal to 0. So x minus 4 equals 0. We simply add our 4 to, add 4 to both sides. So we simply get x equals 4. This one says x plus 2, so I obviously would subtract 2 from both sides, and so x would equal negative 2. Those are two solutions. Because if I put a 4 in here, 4 minus 4 is 0, so it would make it true. If I put a negative 2 in here, negative 2 plus 2 is 0, so it would make the actual sentence true. All right. We could check them out. We just pop them in and then substitute, and we find out that it does equal 0. Now, pause your video after looking at this problem. Pause your video and try it out on your own. Okay, welcome back. Let's take a look and see how you did. Did you set x minus 5 equal to 0? Because that was what you were supposed to do. X minus 5 equals 0. And the second parenthesis, x minus 1 equals 0. So this one, if we add our 5, x equals 5. This one, when we add 1 to both sides, we get x equals 1. Well, let's finish off that 5. Looks like a kindergarten 5. That's okay. All right. Let's take a look at the next type of question. Factor out, excuse me, the greatest common monomial. Take a look. We have 12x and we have 42y. 12 and 42. What's the highest number you can think of that will go into both 12 and 42? Well, if you said 6, you are correct. So, 6. And we set ourselves up in parentheses. 6 times what equals 12? Well, of course, 2. And we can't forget our x. Look, 6 times 2x is 12x. Plus 6 times what will get me 42? Well, 7. So 6 times 7 is 42, and don't forget your y. 6 times 7y is 42y. Let's try the same thing over here. 4 and 24, what's the biggest number that will go into both? If you said 4, you are correct. Now this time the variable, look at this, x to the fourth, x to the third. They actually have a common monomial there, x, x, x. That's x to the fourth, right? X, x, x. That's x to the third. Look what they both have in common, 3 x's. So we're going to pull out x to the third, and then we're going to write our parentheses. Well, 4 times 1 is 4. X to the fourth, how do I get that? X to the third times x would get me x to the fourth. Let's try this next one. 4 times what will get me 24? Well, 4 times 6. And x to the third, and that is x to the third, so I don't bother writing any x's over here. Now, how do we finally write this? We write 4x to the third times 1x is simply written as an x plus 6. And that's your answer. Okay. Try this one. Look for the greatest common monomial. Pause your video and try it. Welcome back. Let's take a look, see how you did. They both can pull out, look at 14 and 35. 7 will go into both of those. So, we go 7 into 14, we get 2. So 7 times 2m gives me 14m. And then 7 goes into 35 5 times, so 7 times 5 is 35, and don't forget your n. Now notice it's m and n. They are not going to have anything in common. That's why they're both left inside the parentheses. All right. Let's try this example. This one requires you to go ahead and factor out the greatest common monomial. So they both have a 2 in common, so I pull out a 2, and we take x to the first power because it's the one with the lowest. Now, technically, we all know that this has a 1. We always take the one with the lowest exponent, and that's what they have in common. So, how do I get 2x squared? I take 2x times x, I get 2x squared. How do I get an 8x? 2 times 4 gets me 8, and so 2x times 4 gets me 8x. Now, just like we did earlier in example 1, we're going to take the blue section and set it equal to 0 to make this a true statement. And we're going to take x plus 4 and set that equal to 0. If you divide by 2, x equals 0 divided by 2 is simply a 0. Minus your 4, minus your 4. And so x equals a negative 4. These are two solutions for this expression, or equation, sorry. All right. Now, here's another question that basically uses what we've learned so far. But notice it doesn't say equal 0. But we can set it equal to 0 if we move the 15n over. So we subtract 15n, subtract 15n. This has a square. This one only has the first power. You cannot combine them. You just write them horizontally, equals 0. Because when you did 15n minus 15n, you got a 0 there. 6 and 15, they both have a 3 in common. N squared, n to the first. We take the one with the smaller exponent and place it out here. Set up our parentheses. 3n times what gets you 6. So 3 times 2 gets you 6, and n times n gets you n squared. So this is the correct response. 3 times what gets you negative 15? Negative 5. Now this one already has an n, so we just don't even bother writing an n over here because n, n, they match up perfectly. Now, take your 3n, set it equal to 0, then take your red 2n minus 5 and set it equal to 0. Divide by 3, and of course n equals 0. Add 5, and you have 2n equals 5. Not quite done yet. Divide by 2 so you can get a single n. Divide by 2. And now we have n equals 5 over 2, and n equals 0. Those are your two solutions. Oops, too far. There you go. Some guided practice. I would like you guys to pause your video and try these 3 questions on your own. Welcome back. Let's see how you did. 0 and negative 5. For number 4, 0 and 3. And for number 5, 0 and 1/2. Great job, guys. I'll see you tomorrow.